Guys, this is Nick Brown at JTech today, and today we are in equipment and operation, and I am going to be going over to you guys today this scissor lift. Okay, this is a 1930 ES scissor lift. Well, one of the first things is I'm going to be teaching you guys how to operate this today, as well as I'm also going to be teaching you guys a little bit of inspection. Now, the first thing you want to do is just a quick walk around inspection of the scissor lift. One of the first things you check is you check the batteries. You pull out these two tabs on the side, that one right there, and it pulls out, and you can see the batteries. And you take one of the caps off of the battery, and you check the water level inside it. Those batteries take a combination of distilled acid and battery acid water. Okay, we checked it the other day, and believe it or not, the water level was actually too high, so we had to drain a little bit out. You want it a 1/4 inch from the top. Okay, this one was full. It was full all the way to the top, so we had to drain a little bit out. Okay, another inspection, just going around the way around. You want to check the wheels. These obviously are not aired up. These are just solid wheels, but you want to make sure they're not damaged in any way. Make sure there's no bumps in them. Okay, because whenever this lift is rolling around the shop floor, these lifts are very heavy. Okay, and obviously there is the weight. I mean, the weight on this point is actually at the bottom, but still, it can cause a bad situation to happen, to cause the lift to tip over, with the tire being damaged or having bumps in it, or having one tire, believe it or not, lower than the other as far as tread goes. That would cause the lift to, whenever you go to lift it up into the air, if, let's just say, this one tire was lower than the other one, then it would cause the lift to tip over and fall over, and we don't want that happening, basically. Okay, so just do your overall inspection over the lift. Make sure none of your scissor jacks are bent, broken, or cracked. Okay, go around, check the water level on the other side of the battery. Okay, make sure your lift lock is good, in good shape. Make sure it's actually locked. Okay, the pin is locked for it. Okay, just go around, and also checking wires. Make sure none of the wires are cut or damaged in any way that would compromise the operation of the lift. Okay, this one is your power cord. This one you can actually just plug into the wall temporarily to get power to it. Let's just say the lift was dead and that happened. This is your charging cord. Right now I just put it on charge, so unfortunately we will not be able to operate the lift, but I can teach you guys how to operate the lift even without operating it, okay, or without having it on. Okay. Alright, these controls down here, going on to these controls down here, these are your emergency controls. You are not supposed to technically use these controls unless you are in a situation where you have to use the controls. These controls tend to happen whenever the guy or any person operating gets up in the air, and let's just say a situation happens where the operator goes unconscious and cannot operate by those controls. These controls these controls can override those controls, and therefore you can operate the lift and lower the operator to a safe level where you can remove the operator in a safe way. Okay. Teaching you about these controls. Yes, the red button is your emergency stop button. The key is to turn it on. Let's go ahead and mention. See if we can turn on. Alright, I went ahead and I turned the key on. Okay, and we can make the lift go up and down from here. Alright, now with the lift up, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how this lock works. Let's see. See, what it does is basically has the scissors rest on the lift. Now, with the lift like this, we can go in and inspect the hydraulics. Okay, so that's what these controls do down here versus those controls up there. Okay, either one can work, but technically you're not supposed to be using those controls unless it's an absolute emergency. But I just use this for a demonstrational purpose. Okay. Inside here you have your hydraulic ram, which basically makes the lift go up and down. Your hydraulic motor's down in there. The pump is on the other side of the motor. Check the wires going to the motor. Make sure they are not cut or open in any way to where they're going to ground out on the frame of the lift and cause a spark or any of that nature. Make sure your hydraulic ram is in good shape. And like I mentioned earlier in my hydraulics videos, make sure that hydraulic ram right here, the chrome part of it, is chrome, and make sure there's no pitting inside it, or else the hydraulic fluid would bypass it, as I explained in one of my earlier videos. Just inspect the lift frame just overall. Make sure all the pins are locked. These pins are held in by snap rings, as you can see. Go around all of it. Alright, so with that, guys, it's coming toward the end of this lift operation. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up and then lower it. Alright guys, so with the lift down, I went ahead and lowered it. I unlocked it. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, before you start lowering it, you're going to have to flip the lock back and put it in the rest bracket. And then you're going to lower the lift. Okay. Going to the upper controls, there is a joystick in there for moving it up and down. What you got to do is you got to press the button. Here, I can show you. There's a button right there that you got to press. You got to hold that down, then you can move the lift back and forth. Up here, this is your emergency stop button. Okay, and when you don't press the button on that joystick, it can allow the lift to move up and down rather than just going back and forth. Make sure your wires are not cut or frayed in any way that would compromise the operation of the lift. Check your bars, safety bars. Okay. Check your safety chain. You always want your safety chain up there while somebody's operating the lift. Safety chain just steps right in, right there. Make sure nobody falls off. Okay. This lift, what it can do is you can pull the other one out. I can't because I got to hold the camera, but you can pull the other one out at the same time. You can allow the platform to actually retract and or not retract, or extend outward, just in case you were working on something against the shop wall that you had to get to that the lift itself couldn't get close enough to. So with that, guys, that's about it. That's about it as far as the scissor lift goes. Very easy, simple kind of lift to operate. So with that, this is my scissor lift video, and I hope this is very informational. So we'll see you guys later.